A story has the power to teach us a life lesson and a new language at the same time. The parable you are about to hear, told in English, is a journey about the difference between safety and stagnation. It's an immersive opportunity to enrich your vocabulary and sharpen your listening skills. They say a ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not what ships are for. What about us? What if our greatest safety is also our greatest prison? This is the story of a man who was the guardian of a powerful light, but had forgotten how to navigate his own life. Our story begins in a quiet coastal town, where the old lighthouse no longer needed a storm guardian, just a keeper. And Samuel was the perfect keeper. His life was a predictable dance with routine, maintenance, reading, the silent observation of the tides. He prided himself on his stability, on his control over his small, safe domain. But in the silence between the sound of the waves and the rotation of the great lamp, an uncomfortable truth emerged. He felt like the tide he watched every day from the tower window, always in motion, rising, falling, coming and going, but fundamentally, never going anywhere. The lighthouse light, powerful and automatic, cut through the darkness to guide others on their journeys. But Samuel's own life seemed to have stopped navigating, content to merely float in familiar, safe waters. The predictable calm of Samuel's life was interrupted by the arrival of new energy in town. Her name was Isabel, a marine biologist, whose life wasn't defined by a tower, but by ocean currents. She was there to study the great whale migration, a journey of thousands of miles driven by an ancient, unwavering purpose. She was the embodiment of movement, of journey, of everything Samuel's life had ceased to be. Naturally, she was drawn to the lighthouse, the fixed point that observed all the vastness she studied. And Samuel, in turn, was captivated by her. He listened, fascinated, to her stories of following the whales, of reading the ocean's signs. And she listened, with equal fascination, to his stories about the mechanics of the great lamp and the tower's history. They were two specialists, one in staying and the other in departing. On a night when a dense, silent fog swallowed the coast, Isabel made a request. "I would love to see the lamp working up close today," she said, "to see how the light cuts through the fog." Samuel, happy for company and to share his domain, agreed immediately, unaware that this ascent would forever change how he viewed his own light. At the top of the lighthouse, the world disappeared. The dense fog had swallowed the sea and the town, leaving only the lamp room, suspended between sky and darkness. The only sound was the soft hum of the motor and the rhythmic sweep of the great rotating beam. Isabel watched, marveling, as the beam of light cut through the fog like a blade. "It's incredible," she said, her voice low, "how this single beam, so focused, can be the only hope for a ship lost miles away. So much strength in one direction." She then turned to Samuel, with a scientist's curiosity in her eyes. "Let me ask a strange question. What would happen if, instead of this focused beam, you tried to use all that energy to illuminate the entire ocean at once?" Samuel smiled, in his territory. "It would be impossible," he replied. "The light would spread too much. It would become a weak, diffuse glow, useless to any ship. It wouldn't guide anyone. To be strong in one point, the light needs to be absent in all others." "Exactly," said Isabel, and her gaze was now that of a mentor. "Your comfort zone, Samuel, is that diffused light. By trying to keep a little light in all the safe areas of your life, your routine, your solitude, your memories, you've spread your energy so broadly that you've lost the power of your main beam. You keep everything a little illuminated, but you no longer have the strength to guide any ship, not even your own, to a new destination. Isabel's words hung in the lamp room, as piercing as the beam of light itself. Samuel looked at his life, at the safe routine, at the comfortable solitude, and for the first time, he didn't see a safe harbor. He saw a weak, diffuse glow, illuminating nothing important. The realization hit him with silent force. "But how?" he asked, his voice almost a whisper. "How do you focus a beam that spent years getting used to being diffused?" Isabel smiled, the scientist in her element. "With a method," she answered. "Like any great journey, you need a navigation plan. 3 simple rules. First, choose a single ship. You can't guide all the ships in the ocean. Your energy now needs a single purpose. Choose one thing you've always wanted to do, something that scares you a little. A trip, a course, a new hobby. That is your ship. Second, focus the beam. Point your energy toward that single destination. It doesn't have to be all day. Dedicate consistent time to it, an hour a day, an afternoon a week. The strength of the beam isn't in its size, but in its consistency and direction. And third, ignore the rest of the ocean. For your beam to be strong in one direction, it must be off in all others. Have the courage to say no to the safe distractions that keep your light weak and scattered. Protect your focus. Samuel listened, and the lesson was no longer a poetic metaphor. It was a practical guide, an instruction manual for relighting his own light. He didn't need to change his entire life overnight. He only needed to choose a single ship to guide. The next day, the sunrise illuminated not just the lighthouse, but a new purpose in Samuel. Isabel's lesson wasn't just to be thought about, it was to be lived. He was no longer the guardian of a static light. It was time to become a navigator. He did something he hadn't done in years. He descended from his tower, crossed town, and entered the community center. Before the bulletin board, an ocean of possibilities opened, but his eyes were drawn to a small pamphlet, Beginner's Woodworking Course. A youth dream, a passion he had labeled impractical and stored in a drawer of dusty memories. That was his ship. With a steady hand, he enrolled. The final scene of our story isn't at the top of the lighthouse, but in a small woodworking workshop, filled with the smell of sawdust. Samuel's journey is just beginning. He's there, glasses perched on his nose, completely absorbed, his beam of energy fully focused on a small piece of wood. Slowly, a shape emerges, a small, elegant wooden whale. Through the workshop window, he can see the ocean, and as he puts the final touch on his creation, a silent tribute to the woman who taught him to navigate, he smiles. He is no longer just the guardian of light for others, he has become the captain of his own new and wonderful journey. Samuel's story is a reminder that our energy is like a lighthouse's light. If we spread it in all safe directions, it becomes weak and diffuse. True strength and purpose are found when we have the courage to focus our beam in a single, new, meaningful direction. If this lesson about finding focus resonated with you, leave a comment below telling us, what is your single ship, the new project, hobby, or journey that you will choose to guide with your beam of light? Like and share this video so more people learn to focus their energy. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that help you learn English. Until next time, choose your destination, focus your beam, and illuminate the path.